How's it going, all you amazing Mets fans? It's your guy Wardy here, and we have ourselves a series victory to break down here late night here on the East Coast, 12:30 a.m. Eastern. Not a problem whatsoever. I currently have UFC's main event of Sugar Sean O'Malley against Merab for the championship rematch beside me, so apologies in advance if I'm live reacting to that while we break down this ball game. But we have a lot to get into tonight, folks, as the Amazons not only took down the Colorado Rockies, but they did it in a curb-stomping fashion, this time winning by a final score of 8-1. And not only are we going to break down what was a fantastic outing from Clay Holmes, who's absolutely looking destined to be a all-star starter, or at least an all-star at minimum for the New York Mets this year. So please make sure to cast your all-star votes if you guys haven't already, for Lindor, for Alonso, for Soto to a degree, among many other amazing Mets players. Because, folks, not only did the Mets get great pitching yet again, in Coors, mind you, they got offensive galore from some key batters like Jared Young, Jeff McNeil, and yes, you guessed it, Ronnie Mauricio. Ronnie, after scorching a double that would have been a home run in any other ballpark a day ago, rips himself a bomb tonight that we're going to highlight and break down thoroughly. We're going to get into everything that transpired, innings 1 through 9 across this amazing 8-1 victory in Denver, Colorado against those Rockies. This is our latest post-game show here presented by BetUS and SeatGeek, and what I want to see is those W's spam in the live show right here, right now, baby. That's what I want to see. There is nothing more of an adrenaline rush to get yourself going late night to talk some Mets baseball when you see the boys go out and have themselves a dominant victory. They're now 41-24 on this season. The Mets' wins are closer to the Rockies' losses than their wins at 12-52. The Mets are a win away from series sweeping the Rockies, not only this time, but also just like they did at home less than 2 weeks ago. Spam those W's in the chat for everybody. That is what I want to see. Shout out everyone for chopping in live on a replay. Let's get the roll call going before we break down the jingle. As always, we got AJ, great member. Mad Team, how we doing? Great member. Charlene, how we doing? Steve Long, great member, going down the list. Now, all my replay viewers, let me know your biggest takeaway in the comments down below as we're about to break down the latest of Mets Lane, the latest New York Metropolitan post-game show here on WardyNYM. Chad O'Neill, how we doing? Alvin, great member. Mr. Delightful, great member. Broken Jester, great member. G Money, how we doing? Brian Howard, how are you? We got Kevin Kane in the building. We got the RZN. We got how we doing? Figueroa. We got D-Mac, great member. We got Paradoxal, great member. JF Pride, great member. How you doing? Going up the list here. We got my guy Caleb in the chat. We got Dave Kaplitz, great member. AJ, great member. Zach Flagerton, how we doing? Charlene, Homemade. G Money, if I didn't say him already. Broken Jester. Michael, how you doing? Valenti. Nico, and let's see, Nika Batista, how are you? Let's see here. Juan Diaz, great member and moderator. Damian McFadden, how we doing, baby? Darren, great member. Aaron, great member. Going up the list here even more. All you guys watching live on a replay, thank you kindly for smashing a like and subscribe on as you guys first chime in. Like I said, we got a lot to get into. It's been forever, but it's a post game, baby. Caleb, happy to have you in here. As always, everybody, spam those W's on that way in. And folks, as we always do after every big victory throughout the course of the 162, no matter the series, no matter how small, no big, everything is important when it comes to big victories here for this amazing Mets team, especially a series victory, folks. So without further ado, let's head over here. Let Wardy fix one quick thing here, because I realize the text is right in your guys' face, which is not what I'm currently trying to do at the moment. Give me 1 second, folks. Let's move that, as well as let's go ahead and move not that one. Hold on, everybody. Where is this darn thing that I know that I'm supposed to minimize? Where are you at? There you are. All right, guys, you know the drill by now, but if you don't know, you're about to know now. Let's let it rip with the one, the only, the official WardyNYM post-game win jingle, baby. Let's effing go. Let's do this.
It's Mets
Shout out to my guys Greg and Jordan, as always, with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. Come one, come all. How we doing, everybody? Thank you guys chiming in late night here on the East Coast. It's normal time on the West Coast and wherever you guys are, because I saw someone in the chat saying that they're from Amsterdam right now. Happy to have you in here, no matter the time zone difference. Wardy, I want you to expand your dancing portfolio. Let's see this. I know you got it, and oh, trust me, I do. But we have to save, I think, the bigger dances for bigger series wins this season. Trust me, there's a lot of things about Wardy you guys don't know in a good way that will be revealing at some point throughout the course of the season, especially the dance moves. We'll get crazy for you guys, don't you worry. But folks, how we feeling tonight? I would love to see from you guys chiming in the live chat and our replay viewers a roll call as to where you guys are chiming in from as well. I'm not asking for your pin or your address or anything like that. I'm just asking roughly where you guys from, where you guys chiming in from. I'd very much so appreciate to hear that, especially seeing all the different diverse Mets fans. I think is always such a cool thing in the chat. You have absolutely no rhythm, Wardy. Jack, if it makes you feel any better, the reason why I have no rhythm is because I really can't hear the jingle the way that you guys hear the jingle. It's in a different format from my point of view, so that's why I'm usually out of sync, and that kind of goes with the entire joke of it. It's corny, it's fun in all the right ways. So spam where you guys are chiming in from. Surf City, NC, NJ, NC, Texas, how we doing? We got Southeast Virginia, we got Virginia Beach, Virginia in here. Do the worm. Northwestern PA, let's see, Marina Del Rey, awesome. All right, we got people from Queens in here, we got West Virginia, we got New York, we got Queens, we got Brooklyn, we got Maryland, we got Long Island, Colorado, Long Island, we got plenty of people from North Carolina in the chat too, very interesting. The Moon, I figured that one, Harrison. Camp, how we doing in here from Chicago? Upstate says CJ, Edgewater, New Jersey, Atlanta, Denver, just got home from the game. Oh, that's awesome. I hope you had an absolute blast tonight. Very much so love to hear that. Dave Kaplitz, thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate that. Yes, we're actually going to be breaking that down probably in content at some point tomorrow, either before the Mets game or after the Mets game. So be on the lookout for that, Dave. Thank you so much, as the Mets did make some veteran pitcher pickup city that we saw there in Garza and Merriweather. Kevin came with the $2 holla. Thank you kindly for that. Ronnie, a 5-tool player. Yeah, we got a lot to say on the Ronnie front. Damien's in here from Thailand. How we doing, baby? We got Texas now, Bronx hometown. Love to see that. We got Queens in the building. All you guys, come one, come on. Let's break down the latest Metsland, everybody. And like I said, we have play to break down. It was a nice, comfortable, towering 8-1 victory, everybody. And this is what we got on the pitching end. So this is what I would love to hear from you guys, is to let this start to marinate in your brains, especially for our replay viewers. How would you grade Clay Holmes' final line today after going 6 strong innings for the New York Mets here? 1 earned run ball, but we're going to expand more on that here shortly. Jose Budo got the job done. Jose Castillo continues to look like a fantastic southpaw option in this Mets bullpen, and man who hasn't done anything really all that much since 2018 entering this season at the major league level. Reading, PA, that's not far away from you at all. Happy to have you in here, brother. We got all you guys, Northeast PA, love to see Massachusetts, how we doing? Boston, how we doing? A lot of people from Massachusetts chiming in. And on the hitting end, everybody, this is how the ball game ended with the Mets live. The game did start with Lindor, but Acuna came in as a pinch runner for him towards the end of the ball game. We'll expand as to how he got there and everything in between. But the Mets came to hit today, everybody. Not only did the Mets outscore the Rockies 8-1, but they only had 2 more hits than the Rockies today. They out-hit the Rockies just 12-10, and the Mets still had their runners in scoring position woes. Another day that ends in Y, where the Mets simply do not have enough consistency there. They were 3 for 14 and left 7 on base, but even while leaving 7 on base and going 3 for 14, the New York Mets still scored 8 runs because they're in Colorado and they're playing the Rockies. Jermaine, thank you so much for the $3 holla. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys kindly for all the likes, the donations, the subscriptions as you guys chime in live on a replay. But folks, let's let it rip and let's break down this ball game and see how we got to this 8-1 victory, shall we? Because it starts here in the first inning, everybody. Francisco Lindor is back in the Mets live today that we saw there batting leadoff. First game officially back there as a starter after he came in with that huge pinch in the 9th inning to score the Mets their key runs in their ultimate victory in game 1 of the series, everybody. But Lindor was in leadoff. We also did see Mauricio batting the 9-hole today there at the hot corner. So how did Mauricio and how did Lindor fare? Let's get into it, folks, because Lindor rips himself a single right away there up the middle to kickstart this ball game. Then he promptly steals his 12th bag of the season because, of course, the captain of Francisco Lindor does exactly that, everybody. Afterwards, we would see WardyNYM with a fly out, Juan Soto would have called strike 3, and then a Pete Alonso line out. So the Mets strand the leadoff runner, but if there's one good trend that's going the Mets' favor, yes, I know that Lindor didn't hit a bomb to begin this ball game, but when Lindor does in fact make contact with his first at-bat of the day as a leadoff hitter, has been a great record for the Mets to win said ball game. So as we continue on, everybody, in the bottom of that same inning, we would see Clay Holmes give up a leadoff single himself, this time to Jordan Beck. Then Thairo Estrada gets on with a single, so there's 2 on, no out, and here comes the big outs from Clay Holmes. He gets a line out on Hunter Goodman, a fly out on Ryan McMahon, and then a big strike 3 there on Ryan Ritter, and that would do it there for the inning, everybody. Clay Holmes works around a 2 on, no out mess, and he gets him swinging on the slider at right around 86 miles per hour to have himself a clean first inning. In the second, everybody, we saw Jeff McNeil fly out, Luis Torrens line out, and Brett Beatty then would reach on an error by Thairo Estrada, but unfortunately Jared Young would pop out to end the inning. Brett Beatty, who got the start for the Mets today at second base, while we saw there in Mr. McNeil in center field and Mauricio at third base. There in the bottom of the second, Clay Holmes had himself his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game as he got a big strike out there that we saw on Sam Hilliard. Sam Hilliard, who ripped his first home run of the year against the Mets at Citi Field not long ago, had himself and his first triple of the year just a day ago, because of course he did. He swung and missed on the slider, looked unbelievably good there. And then we saw Kyle Farmer, the former Cincinnati Red and Minnesota Twin, turned strikeout machine here for Colorado. 3 pitches, you're out of here. None of them even touched the zone, mind you. It was a nasty sweeper down in a way that got him to bite the best way possible. That sweeper, that slider, both of them were cooking big time, from the hard slider to the more of the soft tossing sweeper with more of the horizontal movement. We love what we saw from Clay Holmes early in this ball game. You want to know what we love even more, everybody? We love a batter that makes an immediate impact for this Mets team. You want to know who made himself an immediate impact for this Mets team? It was Mr. Ronnie effing Mauricio. Ronnie is here to play, everybody. Ronnie Mauricio, who officially got the call there for game 2 of that 4-game set in LA against the Dodgers after Mark Vientos went down there with a hamstring injury. Ronnie yesterday ripped himself a double that was 100 plus miles per hour there, I believe, off the bat, that went to the center left gap that would have otherwise been a home run in any other ballpark, but of course in Colorado it is the one ballpark and the one gap where it was not going to get out. Today, Ronnie Mauricio made sure he did not miss any of this one as he rips, without a doubt, his first home run of the year. A towering shot there from the left side for Ronnie Mauricio, who takes Mr. German Marquez 110 miles per hour at 456 feet. Unbelievable of a bomb we saw from Mr. Ronnie Mauricio, folks, and anyone and everyone that said to themselves, oh, Ronnie Mauricio isn't going to transition to the major league level. Oh, the defense is going to be the biggest liability imaginable. It'll be worse than Vientos. Oh, the bat is not going to carry over. Guys, just continue to be the casuals and continue to be wrong all you want. Buddy roughly hit a 460-foot take. I'm going to go on a limb and say he'll be just fine. And I understand the context of hitting a home run against the Colorado Rockies is important context. It's not the same as hitting a bomb in, say, Seattle against whether it's going to be Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, or whoever. But the point I'm trying to make here, everybody, is that you got to make do with who you're facing. Ronnie Mauricio gained the start at the hot corner today, gave the Mets the early offensive prowess, and if it isn't for Ronnie, maybe we have a different outcome in this ballgame. Maybe the Mets only win 7-1. I'm not sure, but what I am sure of is Ronnie Mauricio, a man that we religiously followed from the beginning of his rehab stint a month or so ago there in St. Lucie, working all the way back up there to AAA Syracuse. What is the one thing that we have preached on this platform? It's that Ronnie Mauricio looks like he clearly has it. He clearly has the bat to ball skills at the major league level. What were the Mets looking forward to most at the minor league level? It was seeing him get consistent reps, back-to-back work defensively, not just at DH, but also at third, short, and second base. Ronnie Mauricio is making an immediate impact for this Mets team, just like what he pretty much did last time he got called up. I understand Ronnie didn't have a hit in his first 2 games, but who cares? It was his first 2 games. He gets a double yesterday opposite field in the gap, and then he rips himself a bomb to right today to give the Mets the early 1-0 lead. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty damn good about that, especially when he smokes it for 110 at 456 feet. You got to be feeling pretty decent if you ask me. So Mets fans, I would love to hear from you guys. How pumped up are you with Ronnie Mauricio at the major league level? We know that there are pros and cons that are naturally going to come with a raw talent like Ronnie, especially when we evaluate how well he is of a batter from the left side versus the right side, but this is certainly a step in the right direction there for Mr. Ronnie Mauricio, as he's trying to be a mainstay for this Mets team throughout the course of the season. That power is legit. That power is among the better hitters in all the National League, and that power and that potential, I think, is what's going to carry Ronnie Mauricio potentially to his way to staying on this Mets roster. Again, I would love to hear from you guys. How do you feel about Ronnie Mauricio so far this season? Ronnie said he wanted to be a Yankee, says Michael K. That's hilarious, Eric. Thank you so much for that comment in the chat. Wardy, can Ronnie hit 20 home runs this season? He absolutely has 20 plus home run power. I can't guarantee that that'll happen this season, given the fact that we're already 60 games in the year or so, but I definitely see the home run power being along the lines of a 20 to 30 home run hitter. No doubt in my mind when it comes to Ronnie Mauricio. The power's there, and I think I don't just think, I know he's just getting started in his major league career, everybody. So as we hop back into this one, let's talk about what happens after that 1-0 Mets lead, because the Mets still scored 7 more runs after that point, and how the runs came coming in was after Lindor ripped himself a single shortly after Mauricio's first home run of the year, and then Lindor, for his second hit of the ball game, also steals his second bag of the ball game. This time his 13th stolen bag of the year. Lindor's doing everything and then some. Broken pinky toe, not a problem for Mr. Lindor, our captain, as a Nimmo would fly out, and then Soto would ground out for Pete Alonso to try to drive a runner in there from third with 2 outs, and Alonso would strike out swinging. Good at bat there for Mr. German Marquez, and that's a great of one there for Alonso, but that's okay. And thank you guys again kindly for chiming in for our latest New York Metropolitan postgame shows. We're breaking down the Mets' latest series victory, this time winning by a final score 8-1 in game 2 of a 3-game set in Colorado against those Rockies. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way in, everybody, and let us know all your quick reactions in the chat as well as the comments down below to all of our replay viewers. As we get to the bottom of the third, Tyler Freeman would get on with a leadoff single. Jordan Beck gets on with his second hit in just 3 innings today. Then Taro Estrada promptly grounds into a double play. Great turn there that we saw from from Lindor to Beatty to Alonso. Then we saw a ground out on Hunter Goodman. So getting out of his own mess yet again here, we have the New York Mets and Mr. Clay Holmes. As we get to the top of the fourth, we would see nothing happen offensively. Between McNeil, Torrens, and Beatty, the Mets go down in order. Setting the stage for the bottom of the fourth, where Ryan McMahon greets Clay Holmes rudely this time. He rips his 7th home run this season, this time on a fly ball to center, and that initially tied the ball game 1-1, and this comes after a slider was just pulled down and in. It wasn't bad placement at all by Clay Holmes, in my opinion there, but unfortunately, it was just a sweet spot where if you were going to be ripping, pulling those hands inside, you're going to be taking one. And McMahon somehow got this one to go more center than anything else. Left center, mind you. It was honestly pretty impressive. He's batting from, mind you, the left side of the plate. He somehow goes center left with this, just under 400 feet at 105 miles per hour. But if you look at the pitch placement, it was a slider well down and in there. So it was kind of a hacksaw of a home run there by McMahon, but it tied the ball game nonetheless, everybody. So then we would see Ryan Ritter strike out swinging, a flat on Brennan Doyle, and then Sam Hilliard rips his second double this season. Hilliard has one of his 2 doubles on this season against the Mets. I think everything Hilliard has done offensively has been against the Mets so far this year. And Kyle Farmer then would strike out promptly for the second time in 4 innings, this time on yet again 3 pitches. Did get a pitch in the zone as it was a called strike 1 on a slider down the pipe, but then the hard slider down and away at right around 86 miles per hour gets him to bite yet again, and we would see Clay Holmes work around that 1 home run to have the ball game tied 1-1. Dave, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Ask Michael K why the Yankees didn't keep Holmes and Torrens. I know, it is a great question to ask. Thank you so much for the donation. But if I'm being frank, I don't really have the time nor the interest to go out of my way to ask Michael K's opinions on much of anything right now. In case you guys have not checked out our video that dropped earlier today on the topic of Michael K, Jaron Duran, a lot on the prospect from Pete Alonso's red hot past week of baseball and everything in between. Make sure to check it out, and thank you guys so much for doing exactly that. As we continue on from here, everybody, in the top of the 5th, we would see Jared Young with his second bomb this season, everybody. Jared Young ripped his first home run of the year there that we saw against the White Sox back at home. This time rips his second home run of the year in the DH spot, 104 miles per hour at 385 feet there for Mr. Young, and that would be on what was a first pitch 4-seam fastball. Not completely middle, a little middle on a way down, but beautifully placed there and beautifully smoked by Mr. Jared Young. Young, who of course got that next start at DH as a a lefty bat option, making the most advantage of it as well. Bills territory, thank you so much for the $2 haul. Appreciate you, my man. We are only 5 games behind the amazing A6 Mets. Don't get me too excited now. Don't get me too excited, all right? Thank you so much for that donation, though. That's an awesome stat here. I appreciate that. As we continue on from the Mets having themselves a 2-1 lead, Ronnie Mauricio, who smoked a home run roughly 460 feet his last time out there, rips himself a single, this time on the right side of Tyler Freeman. Then Mauricio steals his first bag this season, probably steals that second base bag. And this is what I mean. This is the Ronnie Mauricio impact, guys. He is a 5-tool talent. He's just very raw in doing so, and he has a lot more work to do defensively in his game and offensively, especially batting from the right side. But there are positives that are certainly coming out of this one. Lindor then would ground out, and then BnazariNYM would rip himself an opposite field single, everybody, and that would make it 3-1 New York Mets as Nimmo drives in Ronnie Mauricio from third. Bills territory, thank you so much for becoming a member as well. To all my live members, shout out our fellow member in the chat now. And Bills territory, we're happy to have you. Enjoy the perks, my man. And again, thank you so much for being here. Hitting that like and subscribe button has been the case with all you guys, so thank you so much for the support there too, guys. I'll be answering plenty more of your comments, questions, and concerns here shortly. I just want to rapid fire and break down more of this amazing victory because the Mets get up to a 3-1 lead. Then we see Juan Soto get on via fielder's choice, and then unfortunately Alonso grounds into an inning-ending double play with 2 on, less than 2 out. As we then head to the bottom of the 5th, everybody, we would see Hunter Goodman rip himself his 14th double of the year after Taro Estrada started the inning there with a 2-out single himself. Thankfully, Ryan McMahon would ground out, and that ends things there. And the top of the 6th, everybody, we would see Jeff McNeil get all of that one for his 4th home run of the season. Give credit where credit's due. Jeff McNeil has been a fairly productive player for the Mets so far this season. He ripped a no-doubter on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball right down the dick, middle. Of course, Jeff gets all of that one. Not a problem. 414 feet there, over 101 on the exit velocity. Then Luis Torrens gets on with a hit-by-pitch. Beatty gets on with a single, everybody. And then Marte grounds into a double play. And Mauricio grounds out, but not before Jeff McNeil got the party continued for the Mets and gave them a 4-1 lead. Again, the Mets lefty bats came to play. They ate up German Marquez for breakfast. But the most hilarious thing is that the Mets batters that did the most damage against German Marquez batting from left side were not Juan Soto nor Francisco Lindor as much, but rather it was Ronnie Mauricio, Jared Young, and Jeff McNeil. Kind of funny, but again, that's just baseball sometimes. At the bottom of the 6th, we would see Ryan Ritter rip a leadoff single there that we saw off of Clay Holmes. But then we then saw, Tyrone Taylor was coming in there and came in for Jeff McNeil, batting 5th and handling center field there that we saw because they must have had Jeff switch from that point. Yeah, Jeff's game was actually done after his home run. Funny enough, they brought in Taylor then, which was fine to do. We saw then Brennan Doyle strike out swinging. We also saw Sam Hilliard line out, and then Kyle Farmer got on with a 2-out error by Ronnie Mauricio. And again, unfortunately, these are the things that are going to happen at times with Ronnie. He's getting acclimated to being an infield option for the Mets still. So whether it's third base, shortstop, second base, I think we need to give him some breathing room naturally. He's a guy that's going to kind of play all over the infield for the Mets right now with Vientos out with injury and seeing what they want best for Beatty and to a degree Acuna. Dave, thank you so much for the $5 haul. I appreciate that. Dave states the following: Phils, Braves, Nats, Dodgers, and Yanks all lost. What a night. It really doesn't get much better than that, baby. Thank you so much for the donation, Dave. And yeah, guys, let's get the hype in the chat going. The Mets won tonight while the Phillies lost. The Braves lost. The Braves have lost 6 straight, mind you. 7 of their past 8. They've lost their past 4 games, all by 1 run in each of those games, including being up 6 runs entering the 9th inning 48 hours ago in their game, I believe, against the Giants, but not someone else. Yeah, when it rains, it pours in Atlanta right now. Tigers lost to, wow, that's actually nuts. From a, league-wide perspective on having the most wins in baseball, that's notable because the Tigers have been leading the way in that regard. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Tyler Freeman will then ground out everybody, and that does it for the 6th. In the 7th, we'd see BnazariNYM get on with a 1-out walk. Then Juan Soto gets on with a 1-out walk. 2 on, 1 away for Jimmy Herget facing Alonso, who then rips a single to have the bases loaded for Tyrone Taylor. And Tyrone Taylor, everybody, drives on a run with a sac fly to make it 5-1. And then Luis Torrens pokes one center Oppo, everybody, hits off of Taro Estrada. Here comes Soto. Here comes Alonso. And the Mets have themselves a very comfortable 7-1 lead here in Denver against these Rockies, everybody. You love to see it. Torrens with some tremendous hitting. He continues to clutch up, guys. In case you guys didn't know, entering tonight's game, the 2 most clutch hitters with the Mets and runners of scoring position this season per batting average were Pete Alonso and Luis Torrens. Funny enough that in a game where Alonso doesn't necessarily have too much to provide, we see Torrens provide in a big manner there with the 2 RBIs. Love to see it. Brett Baty would fly out, but not before the Mets again take that 7-1 commanding lead. Jose Butto then comes in for Clay Holmes, everybody, because Clay Holmes' final line is as follows. Clay Holmes goes 6 strong innings of 0 walk. This second consecutive start for Clay Holmes where he had no walks, everybody. You love to see that. There's nothing that I love more than for Clay Holmes to not be giving up any walks whatsoever. 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 9 hits, and is back down to a sub-3 ERA on the season. As we evaluate Clay Holmes a little bit more and what stood out about him and his arsenal today, he utilized the sweeper the most today, actually, at 35%, topped out at 84 and sitting right around 83. The sinker at 31%, topped out at 95 and sat 93. The slider that we saw there, 28%, topped out at 87 and sat right around 85. The four-seam topped out at 94 and sat 93. Had the changeup at right around 90, topped out at 90 as well, that you threw just 2% of the time, versus the four-seam at 4%, and the slider at 28%, if I didn't say those already. But guys, Clay Holmes, I understand he's in Colorado, but furthermore, I think it's a little bit more impressive that we saw him dominate as well as he did in Colorado, because yes, it is a AAA team that we saw Clay Holmes face today in the Rockies, but at the same time, you are in a ballpark where the balls simply move unlike any other ballpark in baseball. Because of how the air quality is there, you get different types of dimension, different types of shape, and ultimately different late movement on said pitches. But this boded unbelievably well for Clay Holmes, who not only had the ground balls working beautifully, got 6 strikeouts. Again, when you go 6 innings of 1 earned run ball, you get an easy 7 out of 10 from your guy Wardy today, especially knowing that he did not walk anybody. And we saw Clay Holmes really just have command from start to finish this entire one. Easy 7 out of 10 from your guy Wardy on the grade scale, and I would love to hear from you guys watching live and to our replay viewers. How would you grade Clay Holmes' final line today on a scale of 1 to 10? I think everything that we could have asked for, we got from Clay Holmes today, with the only exception potentially being if he gave us one more inning there. But Clay, on 6 innings, still threw 95 pitches, so I have nothing to complain about whatsoever, everybody. And just like what we saw with Kodai Senga, just like what we saw with pretty much every pitcher, it feels like, on this road trip thus far, the pitching continues to carry. It continues to dominate. It continues to carry. And without this Mets pitching staff, this team would be nowhere. This right here is exactly why the Mets are currently 41-24. Far more than their runner scoring position woes would maybe make you initially suggest that they're not as good of a team as they are. No, the pitching has been tremendous, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what things are going to look like and potentially change, hopefully for the better even, when guys like Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea inevitably return to this Metropolitan rotation. Jay Ward could homer to right field at Yankee Stadium. I understand it's a low bar. Thank you so much for the donation, Dave, though. That's hilarious. Really appreciate that. Dave with the $5 holla. Great member in the chat as always. Sean O'Malley had a very underwhelming third round. Got up after being taken to the ground. Great news is that Marab has not done any great damage I'm seeing thus far, other than kind of gas Sean O'Malley out here in the third round. As a Sugar Sean fan and a fan of Marab's, because Marab trains with Aljamain Sterling and Lou Longo there, based out of Long Island. So I have like my New York ties with Marab, but I have personal fandom with Sean. So it's tough right now with the UFC main event going on. But right now, Sean O'Malley's well on his way to losing his second consecutive fight there in the title match against Marab. I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'm not even going to try to say it. But getting off of the Wardy tangent here, Dave, again, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. But now let's get back into breaking down this ball game, everybody, because it's not over yet. It's almost over, but not over yet. As we got, the Mets are 16th in runs scored, runners to scoring position. That's insane. I think that's a further testament to how well they're constantly putting guys on base, which is what's kind of an inflating but also hurting their numbers with runners to scoring position at the same time. Again, when you have like 3 consecutive games of going 2 or 3 for 12 to 14 with runners in scoring position, you know, they're putting guys on base at a great rate right now, obviously. They've been doing that for the majority of the season. In the 8th inning, everybody, we would see Lindor get on with a 2-out single. Then we'd see Brandon Nimmo drive him in there with a double down the first base corner there. His 12th double of the season for Brandon Nimmo, and that makes it 8-1 New York Metropolitans that we would see there. After Juan Soto strikes out, we get set for the bottom of the 8th, where thankfully they would go down in order. Ryan McMahon with a single, but then Ryan Ritter with a double play, and Brennan Doyle with a flyout. And nice inning of work there for Jose Butto. After Butto had himself a clean inning of work there in the 7th inning. So back-to-back clean innings there for Mr. Jose Butto. And Marab just won his fight already against Sean O'Malley. So I guess when I was looking away, Sean must have been pin or something along those lines, probably TKO'd, choked out, and that's that. So I have nothing to talk about on the UFC front anymore. I'm glad that I did not go out my way to devote my entire evening watching that, or otherwise I would have been very frustrated. Let's see. Alonzo with a pop out, Taylor with a fly out, and Terenz with a strikeout, everybody. That does it for the top of the ninth. And in the bottom of the ninth, here comes Jose Castillo, the towering southpaw. And what happens with Jose Castillo? It's a ground out on Sean Bouchard. It's a strikeout, his third of the day there for Kyle Farmer, and a fly out there to Juan Soto. And that does it, everybody. The Mets go on to win this one comfortably by a final score of 8-1. They are yet again, as I mentioned, 41-24 on the season. Phillies most definitely got to fire the manager. Yeah, it might be time for a managerial change. Phillies have lost 8 of their last 9. And what did I say to each and every one of you guys? When the Phillies took first place, not for a second was I sweating. Not just sweating because it's a long season, but understanding the context of how the Phillies went on like an 8-game winning streak after beating teams like the A's, the Pirates, and the Rockies, who were all in downward spirals. Then they had a heavier gauntlet of a schedule, and now here we are today, Braves having lost 8 of their last 9. You can't say the Mets have had, the most easy schedule, but they've had either the best or the worst, no in between. Between playing the Rockies and the White Sox, a total of 3 series the past 2 weeks, and then the Dodgers, 2 of those series past 2 weeks. It's kind of, again, the best or the worst. The Mets have the season series on the Dodgers. They should have it by more than 1 win, but it is only by 1 win because they somehow, someway split that effing series in LA that I'm still bothered by. Take me back to LA, everybody. I had a lot of fun being at Dodger Stadium and interacting with Mets fans there. Beautiful weather, great people, but certainly not loving the Mets splitting a 4-game set when they otherwise should have won. Same thing can be said. Oh, that was a horrendous choke there by Marab. Yeah, that's just disgusting. Yeah, Sean looked even worse than he did in his first fight. You know how sad that is? Sean O'Malley, I'm sorry, guys, I got to go on a quick tangent. For those that don't know, Sean O'Malley, who has been a high-rising fighter in the UFC, was champion up until his fight last September, so a little over a year ago or so, a year plus ago, against Marab. Lost his title, and Sean had himself like a torn labrum at the time, so there were factors that went into why he lost. He locked in this year. He said, I'm done with all outside noise. I'm done focusing on social media as much because he's really building his brand. I'm done, using any vices or anything like that. And Sean looked more weak and more vulnerable in this second fight, in his first fight back in over a year, than what we saw in his last time out there. That is a damn shame, and that is my little Wardy tangent and TED Talk, so I apologize about that, everybody. That's all I had to say on that front. Just very frustrating. I know Dana White isn't even happy about it either, because Marab is not an easy fighter to market. Not that he's a bad fighter, but he doesn't come necessarily with the name or face value that a guy like Sean does that'll drive in more pay-per-view buys. But again, Wardy's getting on a tangent. Let's get off the Wardy UFC cap. Let's put back the WardyNYM cap. So guys, what do I have to talk about each and every one of you? Let's get into a little bit more on the numbers, because as we can start here with the pitching stat, yet again, the Mets pitching came to dominate. Holmes, fantastic. 7 out of 10 from your guy Wardy today on the grades. Jose Butto, 2 shutty, absolutely tremendous. Luis Castillo, 1 shutty, can't complain about it whatsoever. Not Luis, I wish it was Luis Castillo, but Jose Castillo, guys. And now Jose Castillo, look at these numbers, everybody. I'm going to relay the following. Listen to these numbers, guys. Jose Castillo, since landing with the New York Mets now, has himself a whopping 0 ERA in 7 games and 7 innings. He's given up 5 hits, and he has walked 3 batters. So he's technically allowed 8 base runners across those 7 innings, but he's still been a dog and has yet to allow a hit. We will gladly take that. And Marab does own 1,000%. I got no LO against Marab. I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan, so it's a bummer to not even see it be, close to a contest. It's pretty lopsided. Let's see, Hef in the lab. Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking plenty more on the Hefner, Yeagers, Desi Driscoll, and the Mets pitching lab on the platform for sure. But yeah, guys, Mets pitching another day where they just come to step up big time. Again, 1 earned run allowed the entire ball game, a total of 9 strikeouts on the day, and not 1 measly walk against the Colorado Rockies. Not 1 walk. Not even 1 walk. Like, are you kidding me right now? So good. So good. So that's what we got in the pitching end. And then offensively, this is how the ball game ended. suspended for the Mets. When we take a look at their lineup, everybody, and it starts there with leadoff Lindor, who went 3 for 5. Lindor's first game back there, getting a start since that broken pinky toe. 289 average, 858 OPS, and that does there for Lindor's day. Acuna, who had the run scored coming in as a pinch runner for him towards the end, 244 average, 584 OPS for Acuna. Nimmo, 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs and a walk, 232 average, 718 OPS. Juan Soto, 0 for in this one, but did have a walk and a run scored, a 234 average, 801 OPS. Pete Alonso, 1 for 5 with a run scored, 296 average, 966 OPS. Jeff McNeil with the solo shot, his 4th of the year, 240 average, 805 OPS. And then we saw Luis Torrens, 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs, 250 average, 724 OPS. Love Torrens, so productive with runners in scoring position per usual. Brett Beatty, 1 for 4 there with a 230 average, 692 OPS. Jared Young, a 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. Star-studded Starling Marte went 0 for as a pinch hit there in DH for the final 2 at-bats. Young has a 200 average with an 823 OPS. Beatty has a 230 average with a 692 OPS, who went 1 for 4 if I didn't say that already. And Marte has a 243 average with a 733 OPS. And Ronnie Mauricio with his 2 for 4 game with the home run, 2 runs scored, 188 average, 626 OPS there on the season. So that, my friends and family, is what you guys got from the New York Mets and their latest series victory. So guys, this is where I'm going to cut things off for all of our replay viewers. What that simply means is I like to usually have my live shows conclude a little bit longer than just breaking down the ball game. That way I have a Q&A segment to answer whatever comments, questions, and concerns you guys got for me late night here on the East Coast especially. So I'm going to go out my way and answer as many of your comments, questions as I can over the next 10 to 15 minutes, everybody. But to all of our replay viewers, this is where I'm going to be ending the live show. So you will see me kind of stare into the camera a little bit uncomfortably for a couple more seconds longer than you otherwise would like to see, for the sole purpose of knowing that I have a timestamp then to go back to edit in YouTube Studio and just cut out the final number of minutes, because people like a shorter versus a longer post game on replay. That's just normal, especially when there's so many games in the season. So all my live viewers, all right, guys, so to all my live viewers, we're going to continue on with the show right now. Please make sure to let me know all your thoughts and all your key questions, comments, and concerns that you guys got from me in the chat. To everyone on replay, this is where I'll be cutting things off. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Let me know all your biggest takeaways in the comments down below from this 8-1 series victory for the Mets in Colorado. And this is your guy, Wardy, signing out. Let's go, Mets, baby. Peace.